HP has come under significant fire in the last few days because they've released firmware which will block customers from using cheaper non-HP ink, third-party ink cartridges. Many people think that this is just foul play and not particularly fair, but it may also be breaking various laws. Now, what's happened is customers that were previously using these printers with third-party ink then had the update because, let's face it, most of us do carry out these updates because generally that's going to make the machine better. Usually it will make the connectivity better, it makes it faster, gets rid of some bugs and things like that. HP said initially the change was made to reduce the risk of malware attacks. I'll put the link to LBC's news article in the description below. But what it also does is it prevents these printers from using rival third-party cartridges. And HP's position on this is that it maintains the integrity of the printing systems and protects our intellectual property. Now, I think that's a bit of a far stretch to say that it protects their intellectual property. What on earth does it have to do with protecting IP by just stopping you from using a third-party cartridge? Now, I do accept there may be an argument that it prevents some kind of malware attack by a rogue third-party cartridge that might have the intent to cause damage and interfere with your machine. But I think that's pretty far-fetched and probably an extreme example of what it might really realistically be designed to prevent. But let's bring this back to a sensible conversation. They shouldn't have done it. In my humble view, they shouldn't be doing that. They shouldn't be preventing customers that have bought an HP printer from using third-party, cheaper cartridges.
Motion detected at the gate. Motion detected at the driveway.
Now, in this situation, there are various laws that they may well have been breaking because under the Consumer Rights Act of 2015, to say the least, goods that are sold have got to be satisfactory quality, fit for purpose, as described. And if those that have been marketed and sold as being compatible with third-party ink cartridges, as these probably would have been, or at the very least, there'll be a whole batch of customers that said, can I use any other cartridges in these printers? They would have said yes. Then as soon as this update hit, it's going to stop those printers from working, which straight away is going to bring it out of being of fit for purpose and satisfactory quality because it will no longer do what it was designed to do. But also there's the Consumer Protection for Unfair Trading Regulations of 2008, which will prohibit unfair commercial practices, which might be specifically misleading if customers are originally given the impression that third-party cartridges work and then they just drop an update and stop that from working. There is also the EU law context. Now, whilst we've had Brexit, there's a whole stack of law that will still be in play up to a cutoff point, at the end of a specific cutoff point. And there is, of course, the directive on unfair commercial practices as a directive in respect of EU law, which is similar protection against unfair, misleading and aggressive commercial practices. So even though the UK has officially left the EU, much of this law remains in play, remains harmonised, and at the very least is going to be persuasive on any court coming to any decision. So if someone's bought an expensive HP printer that no longer works, then you will have, from the point of what I would consider to be a breach of contract, 6 years to make a claim to get a refund for your printer. And I think not only is it foul play, in my view, but also, as I say, potentially breaking various laws here. And we also have the Treaty on the Functioning of the European Union, Article 102, which prohibits the abuse of a dominant position, which will include any underlying practices of a company. So if the company in this position has a dominant position and is therefore could be seen to be abusing that position by rolling out an update which is anti-competitive in nature, preventing any other third-party manufacturers that produce these cartridges, which doubtless, if they are solely producing HP cartridges, might be going out of business because they no longer work, but also a whole bunch of customers that have bought these printers that no longer work. Ultimately, and in conclusion, my view is this could be breaking all various different laws and is just an unfair and just frankly not a good faith practice. So anyone from HP, I would suggest that you unroll this rolled out firmware update and allow these printers to use third-party cartridges. Anyone that has a printer that is now defunct, unless you are forced to buy these cartridges, I think if you bought it with the knowledge or were still being told that it would use third-party cartridges, you may well be in the position for a refund. So I hope you found that useful. Please share it with someone that you know might find this useful. Remember to subscribe, and as always, thank you so much for watching.